Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
On this occasion, we from Group 7 will present a topic about public policy advocacy, specifically about the forms of advocacy. Advocacy is an important process in public policy because it allows people to express their aspiration, define their interests, and influence government decisions. In practice, advocacy can be carried out by individuals, groups, or organizations. In this presentation, we will explain the difference of advocacy based on strategies and target so we can better understand how advocacy works in real life. Let us introduce ourselves. We are Group 7, consisting of Nadila Rahmacahyani, Nisa Afni, and Nurafizah Putri Indriani. In preparing this presentation, we defeat tasks such as collecting reference, organizing the material, and designing the slide. In the first part, we will discussion advocacy based on strategies. Classification of advocacy from advocacy can be classified into main categories. First, based on strategies or method used. Second, based on target or level of advocacy. This classification helps us understand advocacy in a more structured way. The next material will be presented by Nisa Afni.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. I'll continue with the presentation. Uh, in this first part, we will discuss advocacy based on the strategy or method used. Advocacy strategy are related to how we deliver message, influence decision maker, and build public support. In practice, the strategy play a crucial role in determining success of advocacy because the right approach will lead to more effective outcomes. The first one, direct advocacy. Direct advocacy is a form of advocacy carried out through direct interaction with policymakers, such as government officials, members of the legislature, or other authorities involved in decision making. Examples of direct advocacy include hearing, lobbying, and both formal and informal meetings. In this process, advocates can present arguments, data, and demand directly to decision makers. The advantage of this method is face-to-face communication, which allows two-way dialogue and increases the chance of influencing policy. However, the strategy requires strong preparation both in terms of data and communication skills. Next, indirect advocacy. Indirect advocacy is carried out through intermediaries such as general public or the media. The main goal of this strategy is to shape public opinion, which can create pressure on policymakers. In other words, advocacy is not directed straight to the government, but through the power of public opinion. Examples include social campaign, public petition, and mass movement. When public opinion is formed and gains widespread support, the government will be instructed to respond to test demands. Next, The next one, litigation advocacy. Litigation advocacy is a form of advocacy carried out through legal channel. The strategy is usually used when a policy is considered unfair, unlawful, or harmful to society. Examples include fighting lawsuits in court or conducting judicial review of laws. The advantage of this strategy is that it has legally binding power, so the result can lead to significant change. However, the process usually requires time, cost, and a high level of legal expertise. Next. The next one, media advocacy. Media advocacy is a strategy that uses mass media as a tools to deliver message to the public. Media such as a television, radio, and newspaper play an important role in shaping public opinion. By using media, advocacy issues can reach a wider audience and gain greater attention. They grant the public attention to an issue that stronger the pressure on policymakers to take action. Next. And the next one, digital advocacy. Digital advocacy is a development of media advocacy that utilizes digital platforms such as social media. The advantage of digital advocacy include a very wide reach, fast information dissemination, and relative low cost. In addition, the public can actively participate through comment sharing on online campaigns. In today's digital era, this strategy has become one of the most effective because almost everyone is connected to the internet. Okay, that's all for me, and then hold back to the moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Nisafni. The next material will be presented by Nurhamzah Putri Indriani.
Thank you, moderator, for the opportunity. Okay, I will continue explaining the material regarding community-based advocacy. Community-based advocacy places the community at the center of the advocacy process. In this approach, people are not only passive recipients of policies but are active participants in promoting and defending their rights and interests. Through activities such as discussion, training, and community organizing, individuals become more aware of their issues and are better prepared to find solutions. This makes advocacy more relevant and sustainable because it is based on real needs and life experience. Next. Coalition advocacy. In many situations, a single group may not have enough influence to bring about change. Therefore, coalition advocacy becomes important as it involves collaboration between multiple groups or organizations that share the same goals. By working together, they can combine resources, technology, and network, making their advocacy efforts stronger and more impactful. In addition, coalition advocacy increases credibility because it represents a collective voice rather than a singular perspective. Next, evidence-based advocacy. One of the most important elements of effective advocacy is the strength of its argument. Evidence-based advocacy emphasizes the use of data, research findings, and factual information to support those arguments. This approach makes advocacy more objective, rational, and unconvincing. Policymakers are more likely to consider proposals that are supported by strong and reliable evidence rather than opinions alone. Next. Next, the second material is from the of policy advocacy based on targets. The first is self-advocacy. Self-advocacy refers to an individual's ability to speak up for their own rights and interests. Although it may seem simple, it is a very important skill in everyday life. It includes expressing opinions, making complaints, and standing up against unfair treatment. Self-advocacy also serves as the foundation for other forms of advocacy as it builds confidence and awareness. Next. Individual advocacy. Individual advocacy is carried out by someone to support and defend the rights of others. It is often performed by professionals such as lawyers, activists, or social workers. This form of advocacy is especially important for individuals who are vulnerable or lack the ability and access to advocate for themselves. Through individual advocacy, their voices can still be represented and their risks can be protected. Next. System advocacy focus on creating change at the broader level, particularly in policies or systems that affect many people. Unlike individual advocacy, its impact is more widespread and long-term. Although the process can be more complex and time-consuming, system advocacy plays a crucial role in creating meaningful and sustainable social change. That's all my explanation. Then I will return it to the moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to Nurhafizah Putri Indriani. The last one, consolation. Advocacy is strategies, process that can be carried out through various forms, but based on strategies and target which complement each other to achieve the desired policy change. Strategical advocacy can be conducted through direct, indirect, legislation, media, digital, community-based coalition, and evidence-based approaches, each offering its own strength in influencing policymakers and shaping public opinion. In conclusion, advocacy is strategies process that can be carried out in various forms, but based on strategies and target, each form has its own strength and can complement one another in achieve policy change. That's all from our group. Sorry if there are any mistake we end with Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.